This is Trigger Point, episode 10. My name's Serena, and sitting across from me is my co-host Peter. Hello, Peter.
Hi, everyone.
It has been a while.
It has been a while.
I mean, we had episodes out, but they were all recorded from the same session 2 months ago.
I know, right? It doesn't actually... you don't realise it's been actually that long.
No, it doesn't feel like it's that long.
No, but when we actually talked about it, oh yeah, it's been 2 months since we did our last podcast.
And when we were setting up, we had trouble turning on the microphone and the headphones because like, wait, where does this go?
Where do I put this? Where do I plug this in? And it's like, that was how bad we were. We were like, I can't remember how to do this.
And I just had to check we are recording.
Yeah. Okay, so, Serena, what have we been doing for these past 2 months?
Yes, well, actually, you should start because you were gone first.
Yes. So I went away in May.
Yes.
Back to Hong Kong for a bit, and then I went to Toronto for my friend's wedding. So that was me gone for like a month.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, this friend of mine, I never actually realized, but he turns out to be this. He turned out to be a really, what's the word? Like he's like a religious Catholic, like really religious Catholic.
Oh,
I didn't realize it, like because he's never
told
me that.
Never tried to preach to you.
Yeah, he never tried to preach to me. So I've never actually realized he was religious at all.
Okay.
And so like when I went over there, he was like, so where's the wedding? He told me he was having a church wedding, so I just
you
church
assumed
wedding.
the other half was religious. Or
yeah,
something.
or even if he was religious, like I've been to church weddings that it's normal.
You've met religious people who are barely religious.
Yeah, and you go to church weddings, kind of all the time. Like it's just like, church, you go to walk on the aisle and the priest to say something. But this one was like a lot more structured and a lot more formal than I realized, because I didn't realize that Catholics had a lot of like rules and regulations and like how you need to walk and like it was so like we had a dress rehearsal like 2 days before.
Oh, you were part of the wedding party.
Yeah, I was at a wedding party. And so like we had like the priest showed up and I was like, okay, just reminding you guys have to be here at this exact time. If I don't see all of you here in the right position, ready to go, I'm calling it off.
Oh, wow.
We were like, okay. Geez, that's harsh, but okay. And then so I was like, okay, now first thing, you have to go in. These two people going here at this point. Stop. Take a bow.
Bow?
Wait. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, and then wait for the other person to come here, and then you move, and like wait for like 5 seconds here, and before you move. It was just very like
structured,
very structured. And I didn't realize I've never been to such a like structured
wedding before.
Me
neither. Okay,
so I was like, okay, this is really
slightly military. But did you go anywhere else in Toronto, or was it all just revolving around the wedding?
No, it was just revolving around the wedding. I literally flew like 20-something hours to Toronto for my friend's wedding. He should damn appreciate
How
me
long
going
were you
there.
in Toronto for?
6 days, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So we spent 2 days. Well, 1 day was rehearsal. 1 day was the actual wedding.
Yep.
My first day, I had dinner with my cousins for 1 day. I had dinner with like family for another day, and so I had like 1 day by myself. But I managed to actually do anything. Because I got all the board games over here, all the new board games.
Wait, you bought the board games from the US?
Yeah, Canada.
Well, yeah. Oh, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't have anything to take back anyway, so.
Okay.
And they're cheaper over there.
I just couldn't help but think, well, if you're all the way in Toronto, it's not that far to fly down to Orlando.
You weren't there at the time.
I know, but you can still go.
Well, why did you tell people what you were doing on your holiday?
Well, no. we still have to figure, you haven't filled in your whole month yet. And very quickly, you were saying that your second week in Hong Kong, you had to do what? Assignment, yeah. Yeah. So of my free weekend holiday, 3? I thought it was a 4-week holiday.
no, free week.
Oh, okay.
Holiday. So my first week I had some personal issues.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty much a write-off. My second week...
Unexpected
issues. My second week was, basically staying at home writing my assignment.
I still can't believe that you travelled, during the time when you have the assignments. I would have waited until the assignments were done, then fly all the way to Toronto, and then have my holiday afterwards.
No, because then I have exams. I can't do it after.
All right.
My exams were straight after my friend's wedding. That's why I had to go beforehand.
Wow, your holiday sounds stressful.
It was stressful. Anyway, so that was my holiday, quotation mark. How about your one, Serena?
Mine was also stressful. No, it was. Don't look at me like that. It was.
Slap you. Tell us about your holiday, Serena.
Okay, so I spent essentially a week in Hong Kong at the start and at the end of my holiday. And then I had 3 weeks in the middle where I went to San Francisco, Orlando, and New York. Also, for a wedding that got cancelled.
Oh, really?
I didn't tell you?
No.
It was cancelled ages ago. It was cancelled at the start of the year, but I already bought all my tickets.
Oh, no. Right. Yeah, no. Sorry. Yes, you did mention that before.
Yes. Let's just gloss over that bit. I went to... Yeah. Anyway, so San Francisco coincided... The week I was in San Francisco coincided with WWDC, which is the Apple Worldwide Developer Conference. So someone who's an Apple fan like me obviously went for no reason. I mean, I couldn't get into the conference. I'm not a developer. No. I have a developer account from work. But no. But I went there because I also knew one of the podcasts I love listening to was doing a live recording that week. Actually, a lot of podcasts I was doing live recording. But because I'm not at San Francisco just purely for Apple, because my fiance was with me.
Yes.
And he has to do things too.
Yes.
And that's one of the stressful things about this trip is the fact that I was a tour guide for a lot of things. I had to take him to certain places that I've already been. Because I've been to these places. San Francisco, Orlando, and New York. I've been to all of them, but it's been a while. And I decided to take him to Monterey Bay Aquarium, which wasn't as big as I remembered. A lot of these things just weren't as big as I remembered because I was much smaller and younger when I was there last. When
did you go to those places? How old were you?
In high school. Year 10, we had a culture exchange. I was there for 2 weeks. Glorious 2 weeks.
So it was a while since you've been.
Yes, so it's been a while. So okay. So San Francisco was WWDC. I went and bought a bucket of Apple merchandise because I went to the Apple headquarters. Not the new one, not the new spaceship one because it's not open yet, unfortunately. I went to the one in One Infinity Drive? One Infinity something. And I went to the shop there where you could buy T-shirts and mugs and pens that you can't get anywhere else. And I got a T-shirt, mug, and pen.
Of course you do.
Of course I did.
Of course you did.
Then, of course, we did Pier 39. Of course, all the touristy things, Alcatraz, all that stuff. Went to Palace of Fine Arts. Also did, geocaching. I haven't done geocaching in a while, but since I was in a different country, obviously you want to go and get it just so that you get that badge that you said you've done it in a different country. And it's interesting, that the descriptions of their geocaching in US is a little bit more... They will describe the history of the place that you're in, where they hid the thing. Yeah. In Australia, some of them, they do it, but not all of them. A lot of people just say, I hid something here.
Yeah.
Whereas other people would tell you, this place where you're visiting now, you look over in this direction, this is what happened there, whatever. And we did this at night. Oh, by the way, San Francisco in summer is cold. It's 10 degrees. Right? I packed T-shirts and shorts. I did pack jeans, and I did take my jacket with me. But the thing is, I wasn't expecting to use it. I thought I only needed it on the plane, which sometimes get cold. But no, luckily I took it with me because I had that jacket on the whole time. It was cold, which was fine because I liked it. I liked that kind of weather. It was Melbourne weather. Because then I went to Orlando and New York, and things was minimum 32 degrees Celsius with 90% humidity. Every day it was like a drain because you walk out and all your energy is just sucked out of you, and you're like, I just want to go back in, except I paid all this money to go to all these theme parks and I'm not going to go home until I've gotten my money's worth. So the first 2 days was Universal Studio because I was thinking, you know what, San Francisco would be very relaxing and I'll have a lot of energy and I would have gone through my jet lag and then I will hit the ground running and really enjoy Universal because that's where I really wanted to go. Yeah. Disney World was, since I'm there, four parks, I want to do it. And also the Avatar park was open, the Pandora's World was open. But mainly, I wanted to go to Universal for the Harry Potter stuff.
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course. Not anything else. I don't care about any of the other rides, but the Harry Potter stuff.
If you go to Universal, you have to go to the Harry Potter World, right?
Exactly. And then, unfortunately, San Fran was completely packed, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize, like, I really packed the
itinerary.
Yeah. And my jet lag hit me halfway through San Francisco, and my sleeping pattern was all over the place. Then I get to Universal and the heat wave and the humidity. I'm like, I was really kind of grumpy in Universal, but you're trying to push past it. You know how that thing you talk to yourself, no, I am in a theme park. I am going to enjoy myself, God damn it. Even though I'm in a queue for like 45 minutes, I am going to enjoy myself. Unfortunately, I couldn't help but feel like every ride was the same. Not the Harry Potter stuff. Everything else, it felt like I was in a car and I had a screen in front of me. The car moves around. I have a 3D glasses in front of me, and each of those videos are slightly different depending on what movie you were in. Transformer was kind of boring. Minions was good, surprisingly fun, but it really didn't have much in it. But it was one of the rides that I came out and I was smiling. Okay. Everything else I came out and I'm like,
that was
the same as everything else. Like Spider-Man was the same as Transformers because they used the comic Spider-Man, not the movie ones. Yeah. And everything was like, why did I get into that queue? Like it wasn't. I just want to go back to the hotel room. And even like Andrew was trying to he was walking on tightrope the whole time because he kind of like he didn't want to push me over because I was like I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good mood.
I pity Andrew at the time.
Oh my God,
he's like I better say things very carefully with Serena.
Like and it's annoying because I'm in like Diagon Alley and I'm trying to enjoy myself, but I can't help it. Like I'm so hot and it's humid and I'm not comfortable and this is just annoying me. And I'm trying to I'm having fun. And then like the wand experience. Yeah. I already messaged you about it, but I went in, what was it, 3 times, 4 times, or whatever it was, trying to get myself picked. Obviously, I didn't get picked. And like the last time we were lining up, there was only 2 other people in line. So there's 4 people going to the experience. And we even had by that point bought like their robes. And as hot as it was, we still wore the robes.
Oh, wow.
Not all the way through, but it was like, if we're going to be in Ollivanders, we're going to wear the robe to show them that we're huge fans.
Really want to get picked.
Yeah, really want to get picked. Even though, we saw people walking around with robes, and I'm thinking, really? And also, it's really weird because, like, you see Harry Potter and stuff, and they're all wearing, like, winter clothes and stuff in the movie. Yeah. So when you see Floridians wearing, like, shorts, and then they're wearing this Harry Potter cloak, and you're like...
That's just odd.
Really weird. Like, even I was wearing shorts because this is how hot it was. I don't normally wear shorts. I have to wear shorts because I was dying in this heat. Like, I felt like, you can see your legs through your robes. It was just weird. Okay. And then there's some people who are that much of a fan. They're wearing their scarf with their robes in 32 degrees heat. And I'm like, wow, dude, you're just going to keel over, aren't you? Like, there's not just one. There's a few of them. I'm like, how are you walking around? I don't even want to touch the scarf. And you have it around your neck. Like some of the performers, they have to do that as well. They wear the whole full uniform, right, with the like the jumper and all that stuff. And they're on stage performing. And in Universal, the stage are open.
Oh, God.
They don't have any... like roof over their heads, and you can see them perspiring. One of the girls had to take out a hanky and just constantly dab her face because she's just like melting in the sun, because there's also the sun. It's not like, overcast. I'm thinking, oh, you poor people. I'm like, just hurry up and perform and go. I'm thinking, Universal, can't you just put a...
I know, right?
Why do you not have a roof? I don't understand. You don't have to have the roof for the people watching because they're here. They're here. Yeah. The performers, I felt so sorry for them. And they did a really good job. Some of them, like the singing and the dancing, and it was really good. So anyway, back to the Ollivander thing. We went in, and just before we went in, Andrew's like, you know what? It'll be really funny. We went in, and then I get chosen instead of you because you will hate me, wouldn't you? And I'm like, Jinx, you just jinxed us. You just jinxed us. And he always says, Jinx isn't real. It isn't real. We go in, and then what happens? He gets chosen. And he's like, oh, Jinx is real. And to be honest, by that point, he's already gotten the wand. I hadn't, because I kept on hoping. This was like the second day, the last day we're there. I was holding out for the possibility that I'll be chosen and there'll be a wand for me. So he's already gotten himself a wand, and it's one of the interactive ones. So we've been walking around the park, waving our wands, trying to get things to work. Yeah. And it's fun. Because, water...
I didn't realize there was that.
Yeah. When you buy an interactive wand, they give you a map and it tells you certain parts of the park. If you go there and you do a certain wand movement...
That's really interesting.
And you say a certain word, but you don't. The words it doesn't matter. Words like So you just do certain ones, and like one of the fountains would spray water, lights would turn on, certain things would happen. It's really cool.
I think they had that when I went.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because obviously the interactive one is more expensive.
Yeah, of course.
And all the ones that choose you in Ollivander, they're all interactive ones.
Oh.
Yeah. You might want to check your one. You can see a little IR thing at the front. There's a little glass dome thing at the front of the wand.
Anyway.
Yeah. So he's already got one. Now he has a second one. And he's like, oh, do I buy it? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to buy it. So he has 2 wands now because it chose him. So of course he's going to get it. Yeah. So by that point I'm so disenchanted. I'm like, fine, I'm just going to get any wand because that was the other thing. I was having trouble finding one that I want because it was like
if it picked you, you'll be like, this is mine. Whereas wand. If you have to pick it, you'll be like, oh,
do I choose a character one because a character one is obviously not mine?
Yeah.
Right. If I choose the other ones, I didn't really like any of the non-character ones.
Yeah.
The only one that I liked, which shouldn't be surprising for people, was actually a dark. What's that group called again? Oh my god, my mind is blanking out. The ones who follow Voldemort. Yeah. Our fan creds just dropped. By the way,
I know, right?
My mind's blanking out. Death Eater.
Oh, yes,
I got it before you. What kind of fan are you, Peter? Because I saw it because I have it on display. All these ones, and I'm like, oh, that one looks nice. And he's like, oh, that's the one of the Death Eater ones because they have multiple ones. I'm like, oh, of course, because I don't know if anyone else knows that, but I'm a Slytherin, so yeah, whatever. So yeah, that's the other thing. I bought like the robe. I got the full uniform. Oh, and Amazon is fantastic because I bought all sorts of stuff from Amazon to get them shipped to my hotel room because it's 2-day. Oh yeah, I signed up for a Prime, Amazon Prime on a thing. So everything I bought, it arrived in 2 days. So I could buy it in Universal and it will arrive in Disney World for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I bought a lot of stuff. Except when you buy things in America, like if you buy things from Amazon and you ship them to America, they charge you tax. Sales tax. You don't get the sales tax if you ship it overseas.
Yeah.
And some of the sales tax, when you look at it, like I might as well ship it overseas because the amount. Yes. I bought an Instax Square camera, and the sales tax on that, I might as well ship it to Australia. It was the same cost, except I got to use it while I was over there. But it's still annoying. So that was Orlando. Oh yes, Disney World. Everything was like old compared to Universal. Everything like really old, and you're like, oh man, please repaint that. That's like falling apart. And some of them are like, really? You still have this ride? Like the Shrek ride? Oh my god, it was so old, so stupid. I mean, no wonder people only lined up like 5 minutes for it because you really shouldn't even waste that 5 minutes waiting for that. That was like stupid. But the one ride that was worth it was, surprisingly, in Animal Kingdom, the one that we'd spent the least amount of time in because we thought we wouldn't like any of it. Yeah. Andrew liked the safari and all that stuff in there more than he enjoyed any of the other Disney Worlds. Yeah. And then the Avatar ride, there was 2 Avatar rides, essentially. One was a boat ride that you go, the water, the rails, and you sit in a boat and it takes you around these waterways, and you see the inside of the forest, in Pandora. It's pretty. Nothing really happens. You're just looking at all this stuff. There was no story. There was no climatic part of it, but it was pretty. Yeah. Okay. Line was kind of long, but like obviously we checked to make sure it was the shortest time before we went there. Yeah. The other one was the one where, you know how in Avatar you sit on a raptor, and in the movie he finds a raptor, he gets onto the raptor, and you fly through the raptor thing. Yeah. Essentially that's what you're going through.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That was long story short, that was a 3-hour queue when we went. It didn't take 3 hours, 2.5. We started lining up at 11.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because the park was open till 1 for people who stayed in the resort. If you're not in the resort, it stays until 11. So we decided to go after 11, so we don't have to fight with everyone else. Yeah. But apparently, everyone that lives in a resort decided to do the same thing. So 2.5 hours later, I get onto the ride. It was glorious and fantastic. I screamed the whole way through. Halfway through, I stopped screaming and start whooping because you know how the raptor dives? Yeah. Essentially, that's what the ride was. Okay. And you're not sitting in a car. You're not sitting in a car with the glasses on. You're sitting on like a bike, individual bikes.
Oh, okay.
So you have 6 bikes in a row and you have the big, huge screen in front of you. You're wearing 3D glasses, but the screen is much closer to you. Yeah. And you look like you're in that thing. When you're flying through the air, you look, and the air's blowing in your face, and you have the smell of cut grass when you're near grass area, the smell of salt water when you're in front of the ocean. You remember how I don't like water?
Yeah.
And deep ocean things, and they have a big, huge, like, wave coming over you, and I'm like, oh my God. And then from the wave, there's this big, huge, like, whale-like thing that shoots out into the sky right in front of you. And by that time, I'm not only screaming, I had my eyes closed because I'm like, oh my God. And then, like, I peep open, and now we're in a tunnel of water. I'm like, like, just get over this part. Please, please, please. Water. No. And then I'm through it, and I'm diving, and I'm screaming, and then I'm whooping because, like, adrenaline. And then I come out of the ride, and, like, if it wasn't 1 a.m., I will go on that, I'll go on it again, except the park was closed. Because seriously, if I'd done it earlier, I will go back on that ride again because it was fantastic.
Okay. Yes. I was obviously when I went there, Avatar wasn't open. So I didn't really enjoy Disney World. To be fair. No. Like, again, I'm similar as you. Like when I went over to Orlando, for my cousin's wedding, my main thing was Harry Potter.
Yes. And you've already been to all the Disney Worlds, haven't you?
No.
Any Disneyland?
No, I've only been to... I went to the one in Japan when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Then it should still be magical for you. It's only like,
I've never really...
It's the most magical place in the world.
I don't know.
It's magical if it's not 32 degrees. But
I enjoyed it, but it wasn't that magical for me, to be honest. Maybe I'm just not I don't know. Like, I liked it, but it wasn't so much fun for me. I mean, I enjoyed Universal a lot more, obviously.
No, I can understand. If they didn't have any other new stuff, I can understand why Disney World was a downer.
Yeah, it was very much like... I think the newest thing we had was like the Buzz Lightyear thing.
And that one's available even in Hong Kong.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like, well, I've had this kind of before, so it's kind of like... It's nothing special, I guess. So I was actually really interested in hearing about the Avatar one. So apparently that's really good.
Definitely worth going. Anyone who's deciding to travel in the next 5 years, no matter where you were planning of going, cancel it. Like, go to Orlando instead while this ride is still new and shiny.
Yeah, true.
Because 10 years down the road, you'd be like, not only is the ride old, but you'll be jaded. Yeah. Right? You would have seen other things. Yeah. Because that's the thing I felt with all those 3D, like, rides, because it's like, I watch movies like this already. Yeah. Like, sure, the seat myself is like moving, but it's like, is it really that impressive? No, it wasn't. Oh, and the Magic Kingdom, again, everything else I've seen already, I've done already. Sorry for other people who've never been, and it does sound like a first world problem, but the thing about Magic Kingdom is that they've changed the 8 o'clock show, at the night, like every Disneyland
has
their fireworks and stuff, and they've changed this. One of the new technology, well, it's not new anymore, is like that 3D projection onto buildings. You know how they project, like they make the building look like it's collapsing or something. You know how Melbourne Town Hall? Mm-hmm. During Christmas, they project the Christmas lights on it.
Oh, okay. No, I don't.
So there's this thing where they measure the building. Yep. They've already scanned the building and know what it's like. So they project onto the building every part of the building, so they can make the building look like it's changed colors or different things. Yep. So they've done that with the Magic Kingdom castle, and they project all the princesses and stuff. Like, each of the princesses have their own different castle. Like Ariel, the castle looks like the water. So that was actually very impressive. That was really cool. But it also meant, because that was also new, the amount of people packed into that central area trying to watch the show. I think they even had 2 sessions.
Oh, wow.
Because that was the only way. Like, there was so many people. They were saying, it's full. You can't get in. You've got to go away. Like, we managed to slip in just before they closed it off. Yeah. But so many people. Like, the smell of bodies was fantastic. Like,
especially when it's 30-something degrees and 90% humidity.
Oh God, it was. And then the whole time I was in Disney World, it rained every day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, from between 3 to 5. I just went back to the hotel. Everyone went back to the hotel because you'd be wet. It rained so hard, like my shoes were just puddles. And you spend those 2 hours trying to dry your shoes because you're going to go back out and you don't want to be in wet shoes while you're doing that.
Oh, that's right, because you stayed at the resort in Disney World. Yes,
so that we get those extra hours. And the thing is, because you go back at 3, you definitely go back out because the parks are open till 9. And if you're at the resort, it opens till 11 or till 1. So you're definitely going back out. So you're changing clothes. Every day you just have to get a new change of clothes. I nearly didn't have enough clothes to last me that whole week.
Well, they have shops there. You can always buy a Disney shirt.
Oh, no, I'm not going to buy a Disney shirt. I already bought a really expensive Apple shirt. No, actually, no, I did buy a shirt from Disney World. After I came out from the Avatar ride, I was so, I'm like, I love Avatar. I love Avatar. I love everything Avatar. So I went and bought, a T-shirt, and I don't know what else I bought, but I bought a couple of things that were Avatar related because I'm going to show my support for this ride because I love it so much. And then, of course, New York was New York, you know. No. New York was not just New York. New York was New York. New York in summer stinks. It really stinks. Like, physically, it stinks. You'll be walking down the street and you're like, I smell urine. Or, I smell human feces. That's fantastic. That was fantastic. I would have loved New York apart from that. It was hot. It was humid. I'm guessing any other season, I would love it.
Yeah.
Shops are fantastic. Hate the sales tax. New York not only has a sales tax, it also has a state tax, so everything was even more expensive. I'm like, what the hell? No wonder people go to New Jersey to buy stuff because they don't have the tax. But I also went and watched 2 shows. One was crap. I keep on forgetting what his name is. I remember I'll add it into the show notes. It was like a magic show. It was produced by Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Andrew found that. He looked up the stuff and he's like, "Oh, there's a show by Neil Patrick Harris. Do you want to watch it? The last show is tonight." And I'm like, "Yeah, if you can buy tickets, sure." And we were able to get in and watched it. It was like a existential kind of question, like who we are, like are we just one label? But at the same time, that's just the storyline that gets you through the whole show, because the whole show is a magic show.
Okay.
And they show you this trick. Like there's like 4 short stories, and each of the stories he does a trick, and you think, "Oh yeah, I've seen this trick around before." You know, they like they're doing the card trick and they pull out the cards, like all the aces and all the kings or whatever, and you thought, oh yeah, that's whatever. And then he's like, oh no, and he does something else, and he's like, oh yeah, he pulls out all the spades, and you thought, oh, that's you've seen that around, except he does a little thing and all the spades were in order. And you still thought, okay, I've seen that around. Except then all the rest of the cards in his deck, he opens it and you realize it was all in order. The thing is, he's been shuffling it throughout the whole show. It was in random order, but somehow while he was shuffling it, he got it in random. I'm like, okay, so he shows you a trick that you think you know, and then there's an extra one that goes over. So he does that for each one, and it's really impressive. And at the end of the show, when you go into the show, at the start of the show, there's a wall that says "I am." And there's these little cards, like hundreds of cards, and it says "I am," and then underneath it has a description. I am a pilot. I am a cook. I am a mum. And everyone who goes in has to choose one. Okay, you get to pick one. And then when you get to your seat, before you get to the seat, you rip out the description and you hand it to the lady at the door, and you keep the "I am" section, and then you go and take your seat. And you thought that was just a gimmick to get you involved in the story, because the idea is, are you the label that you think you are? The last trick he does... Oh, and this is a spoiler, so don't,
If you're going to go to that show, don't listen to this part.
It's called, oh, God. Let me look it up very quickly. Because I don't want to ruin it for people, and if they don't know what the show is, then I don't want to... In and of itself. That's what it's called. In and of itself. So, don't listen if you are planning on watching this. That last part of the show, he tells people, okay, so people who pick their names, some of them pick it for a fun thing. Some people actually took some time to consider what they are and actually choose the one you are. If you have chosen your thing seriously, stand up. So you have half the people stand up. And then he goes and he names each one of them.
Oh, wow.
So I understand that when you first picked your thing, there's a video catching you, right? Videotaping you. But the fact that he memorized it in the time it took for you to get it, and the time he started the show, because it's the same guy throughout the whole show. So he had to do it within like the 15 minutes. Not only have to watch the video and remember everyone, but the fact is, it's not everyone who stands up. He's not just remembering in the order. Some people stand up, some don't. And he says them, you're a pilot, you're a lover, you're a thing. And I'm like thinking, holy crap, like it's not thousands of people. There's like, I don't know, 200 people.
But that's still a lot.
That's a lot. And I'm thinking, holy crap. you does it every day, right?
That's impressive.
That was really, really impressive. And I'm like, and also halfway through the show, he actually asked somebody who would be able to come to the next show. You have to come to the next show. And someone said, okay, I have time. Because essentially I would have put my hand up, except I had a walking tour the next day. He's like, okay, I'm going to give you a book. Okay? We've had this book since the start of the show. And this show's been a year and a half or whatever. Yeah. Every show I've asked someone to do this. I want you on a double spread page. One half, write down everything you remember about the show that you've seen so far. Because halfway through the show, she's going to get kicked out.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Halfway through the show, she gets kicked out, and she gets to come back to the next show for free. And the other half of the page, the second page, he wants her to write down what she thinks the rest of the show will be. And apparently, there's been people who draw stuff, paint stuff, stick things in, and all that sort of stuff. Because the book that he got from, he actually said, "Who was here yesterday?" And someone raised their hand and said, do you have the book? And she brings down the book and tells her to read the page that she wrote from what she thought the ending would be. Yeah. And then she gets to stay here to watch the rest of the show. Whereas the other person who picks up the book, she gets kicked out halfway through. Yeah. Because she was telling us how there was a story about, sailors. Like the captain writes he writes in his captain's notes saying what's happening every day. But sometimes when you don't have the stars to tell you what day or where you are. Yep. The captain can only just guess that's what's happening. Yep. And he writes it down anyway, because he has to write down something every day. Yep. And then he might have to fix it afterwards or write down, oh, no, actually I was off course and this is the way it is. So he wants this book where it's half truth and half made up kind of thing. So every day he has someone does that. And I'm like, wow, That's
a really interesting way to kind of get people involved in the show.
Yeah. Okay. It does mean that you have to have one person who's willing to leave and come back. And you have to hope, right? You have to have faith in the person coming back and actually writing something in it. Yeah. And there's all sorts of stuff. So that was kind of cool. And that was one thing. The second thing is I watched Dear Evan Hansen, which was a musical, which won the Tonys this year, which I didn't know they won the Tonys until I went to New York. But it was fantastic. It was that's like a whole new show. I have to stop talking now because we went way over time again. But if they ever show this show in Melbourne, I think we really need to watch it again. I want to watch it again. We'll watch it and talk about this because it's really good.
I've heard about it. I've read a bit about it. I'm not sure that I'll like it.
What have you heard about it?
I know the basic storyline of the show, and I don't know, I have some
reservations about it.
I have some issues with it.
Why? Well, no. What's the issue? Like that? What? That's about a high school kid? Or
No. Okay, so he basically the show. I'm just remembering what I've read, right? Yeah. So he lies about knowing this person who's already dead.
Yep.
And that's how the story goes.
Yep.
Don't you think it's kind of glorifying the lie a bit?
In
like the whole show, and the way the show makes you sympathize with him.
No,
it doesn't.
No, because it is a lie, and they do emphasize that it is a lie. Yeah, and it shows how the lie gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And he gets stressed out.
Yeah.
And you're watching it, and you're like, it has to come to a head.
Yeah, and it does, but I don't know. I'm interested.
It's not Book of Mormons.
No.
No, in the sense that how Book of Mormons, they kind of say it's a lie, but who cares as long as right. Yeah. That's not the message.
No. I feel obviously I haven't watched it, so I'm interested in watching it, but I don't know. I just have some reservations about it. But anyway, I'm very interested to watch it if it does come over here.
Yeah.
How was the music though?
I like the. I've been listening to the album nonstop.
Yeah.
Look, I haven't listened to Book of Mormons once at all since watching the show, at all. Yeah. But this one I've been listening to nonstop. My mind, that song, every song is like an earworm. It just comes back, and even some of the ones I don't enjoy as much, some parts of it just comes back, and I just listen to it again. So I really enjoyed those. When I first listened to it without any context, some of it doesn't make sense to me. Because I just completely got the story wrong. I got some of the songs wrong. It doesn't make sense. If I know the story and the guy's dead, how come there's songs as if the guy's not dead? And then you watch the thing and it all makes sense. But I came out of it, and some people who were in, because I was watching a matinee session.
Yep.
So some of these people are old people, and they came out like, oh God, it was so emotionally tiring watching it, because some of this is like, it's not just about the kids. It's all about the parents as well, who was dealing with these kids, and like, you know, kids with problems, or like trying to, like, one of the songs, the idea is like, you know, kids feel like parents know what they're doing.
Yep.
But parents don't really know what they're doing because it is their first kid or whatever. It's the first time they've done this. Like, can someone tell me how to do this? Because I don't know how to do this. And so it's not just about the kids, it's about the parents and how they're trying to figure out how to be parents. And so for some of the adults out there who have kids, it will resonate with them on a different level, right? Because you'll be like, yes, this is what I was feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
And oh my God, like it is a roller coaster in that sense, like emotion.
It's very draining.
Yes, in that sense. Yes. And the guy is the guy that you liked from Book of Mormon.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Okay. Of course, in Australia, it wouldn't be him.
Yeah. Oh, but was that why you were asking me?
Huh?
Was that why you were asking me on WhatsApp whether I liked
the guy? Yes, because I forgot which one it was that you liked. So I believe it's the guy that you liked. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. The only problem I think I had with Dear Evan Hansen is the fact that guy, that he is the main character.
Yeah.
And you know how a lot of shows, they have an ensemble, like everyone is a main character, like everyone has a chance. No, every song pretty much revolves around him. There's a lot of songs where only he's singing, like, or has him singing.
Yeah.
There's barely any songs without him. I'm thinking, holy crap, is this show made for him?
Probably. Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay, so that's definitely something that we'll need to keep in mind.
Yeah. So that's what we've been doing for the past 2 months, and it's nearly an hour. Well, 45 minutes. And
well, we haven't even finished our part on what we've been doing.
Yeah, I don't even know whether we should do our topic now, because I mean it's the whole entire episode. Okay, let's very quickly. I'm just going to jump to the part where we're talking about our feedback, because this is linked to it in a slight way. I am terrible at looking at the feedback that we have. I didn't know we had any, but apparently we did. So I thought I'd tell Peter, like, one of the feedback we got was from our Reddit, on our Reddit, well, we don't have a Reddit thread, but one of the persons messaged on Reddit saying that they downloaded our first episode, so this was 7 months ago. Well, actually 10 months ago, but whatever. And he really liked the personality of both of us, which he believes is... well, I think it's a he. Could be a she. The Reddit user's name is Best. So, hi Best. So he likes they like both our personality, and they believe that personalities are the most important part of a podcast. So they stopped listening after Ender's Game because they didn't want to be spoiled by Arjun, because that was the episode we were talking about Arjun.
Oh, right, yeah.
And so they'll be listening to it soon and hopefully giving us more feedback. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to any more feedback there. Even though this one...
Sorry for reading out your feedback so late.
Yes. So I just wanted to read these out. I'm sorry. Look, you weren't helping. So I'll do a better job at keeping track of all the social media that we have, or anywhere that I posted stuff. And if you send them feedback, I'll read them on air. Oh, geez, I'm so sorry. I mean, this person might well have written more feedback if I responded to them earlier. So I'm sorry. Because it's already over 6 months, so Reddit won't even let me reply to the person. I suck. So yeah, that's why I'm saying, we could even avoid doing the topic and could do the topic next month, because people like listening to us talk about other stuff.
I know, right? And I feel like, and we still have to get through some of these things.
Yes, we do. Okay, let's go through them really, 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 really quickly. Transformers, the new movie. Do not watch it. This is a public service announcement. Do not watch it. I watched it and I felt like I wasted 3 hours of my time. I came out and I'm like...
Was it 3 hours long?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because the previous one, I watched it and I hated it. And I'm like, okay, this cannot be worse than last time.
Why did you watch it?
Because I said it could not be worse than last time. No, it was.
I would never go into something saying, look, it seriously can't be worse, because they can always be worse. You never know low until you reach the next low.
And that is true here. I'm never watching another Michael Bay movie because this was so bad. Okay, next topic. Oh, have you watched? Oh, no, you haven't watched it, right?
No.
You're not planning to watch
No.
it? Okay, yeah, okay.
I haven't watched a single Transformer movie. I think I think I watched parts of the first one.
Yeah,
and that was about it.
Yeah,
and apparently that was already the best one.
Yes,
so.
yeah, I think so too. Like, you haven't missed anything. Seriously, the whole, yeah.
Okay. So, okay, bit from me now.
Yeah.
Since you've just
I'm sorry.
spent like the whole last.
I'm
like,
sorry.
what,
I'll try to
half
cut
an
some
hour.
of it. I'll try to cut some of it out. You know, if I manage to keep this all under the limit, like file limit for our upload, I might keep the whole thing. But you know, whatever.
So what have I been doing? I've actually been really busy the last months. You know,
So go
like,
talk.
Not
Yes.
like usually I'm the one. Serena's always the one that's complaining that I have no time and I don't have time to do X and Y and Z, which is true. I admit. But obviously, I just had my uni break, so I actually had a lot more time than I expected. So I actually have done quite a few things. The first thing I want to say is, was it our? I can't even remember which episode was the episode I was talking about Final Fantasy 15.
Yep.
And how I really hated it. Well.
Yep.
I had issues with it, and how I wish like I don't enjoy games anymore because just it was so frustrating playing that game. And
Yes,
it still frustrates me. In saying that, I realized it's not me. It's not just because I'm getting older and I don't like games. I have played the most amazing game I've played in the last 10 years.
Okay.
And the game is called Horizon Zero Dawn.
And this is on what?
PlayStation 4.
Okay.
Okay. Absolutely. If you have a PS4 and you haven't played the game, buy it. It is literally single-handedly the best game I've played in the last 10 years.
To help with the speed, what genre?
It's an RPG.
Okay.
Is the developer who made the game was the developers who made Killzone. Which is the first-person shooter.
Yep.
And so they've been only doing first-person shooters for the last, how many years.
Yep.
Okay. So they've never tried doing RPG before. And so this was like a big risk for them.
Okay.
But it paid off so well.
Are you talking about story or graphics or what?
Everything.
Okay.
I literally can't find a fault in this game.
Whoa.
There is so many great things about it. Like, it doesn't break any, like, new grounds, per se.
Okay.
But it does everything in this genre so well. Like, in terms of graphics.
But you finished it?
Yeah. Like, ages ago.
How long did it take you?
The game's not long. The game's actually, if you're only focusing on the story, the game's only around 30 hours or so.
Okay.
So it's actually quite a short game. If you do everything, you may get to 60, 80 hours. But even
can you replay it, or is it an...
Look, replayability is probably not its best quality.
It doesn't have to be. No,
but it's single-handedly has like the best storytelling.
Okay.
And in this, I really don't enjoy open world games. Generally.
Okay.
Which Final Fantasy 15 kind of made me even more sick of open world games, and I thought, I don't like open world games. This is why it sucks, because the story gets convoluted and it's disjointed. No, like, this is how a good storytelling can be done in open world genre. The way
yours is open world.
Yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn is an open world RPG. But the way they managed to integrate the story into the game was so seamless and so flawless, and you're constantly engaged with the world. There's so much in the world. It's not this barren wasteland. Like, everything is so detailed. I can't give enough praises. It's I would definitely recommend anyone who hasn't played it, definitely try and play it. Even if you don't have a PS4, watch the story. Like, go on YouTube and
watch someone's
playthrough about the story. It's amazing how they've managed to start off with this. Look, the developer had this idea of they wanted, people fighting against gigantic dinosaurs, robotic dinosaurs.
I think you touched upon that last time.
Did I?
No, about a game that you're starting about gigantic robots.
Okay, I may have. That's the whole premise. They had that idea that's what they want to do, and the way they managed to integrate a story into it, and that it makes so much sense, and it was just so well done. It's amazing.
Okay. No, because Andrew's planning on getting a PS4 sometime in the future, so I'll probably try that.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I must say though, for me, I'm not a player that likes to spend a lot of time learning new mechanics which is one of the reasons why I like traditional JRPGs, because I don't need to learn a lot of new mechanics. This one I did, but I liked the game so much I was willing to learn whatever it threw at me.
Okay.
So that just shows you like what type of game that is.
Okay, just because you talked about games, I just remembered something. Me and Andrew bought a Switch for our trip because we thought, this is a perfect thing to have on a trip. So it is perfect for travel because of the size and everything. Yeah. And I realized that's the thing, right, with PS4. I don't play console games or PC games as much because I liked being on the go when I play stuff. Yeah. That's why I play mainly iOS games, which unfortunately there's not a lot of good ones out there. Yeah. Although I've recently played one that was really good. If I remember the name of it, I will tell you. It had Will Wheaton's voice in it. It was one of the ones that was kickstarted and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Broken Age. Broken Age is what it is. It's like a puzzler. It has some good things, some bad things. It was one of those click puzzle things. You had to click certain things and go to certain places. But it's very good. The dialogue is really funny. Mm-hmm. Like they make jokes and stuff. As I said, it has Will Wheaton in it, so why would it not be? So I played Switch, Zelda, Breath of the Wild. Oh my god. I thought I didn't like you, I thought I didn't really like open worlds that much, but I like it. I never played any Zelda games before, but I really like this one. I like how it's like, in a way, it's like there's no pressure to try and kill everything.
Yeah.
Because there's a mechanic in it where things respawn.
Oh,
no. They you know how monsters respawn in games and they don't really tell you why monsters respawn? It's just a mechanic in the thing. Yeah. In here, there's actually a reason why monsters come back. And so, on one hand, it's like, oh no, if you're in the middle of a battle and you just killed all of the things and then this mechanic happens, you're like, oh crap, now I'm surrounded by all these monsters I killed before. But at the same time, it puts less pressure on you to try to rid the land of bad guys because they're going to come back anyway. Yeah. So instead of trying to kill everything, like, it is perfectly fine for you to like sneak your way past because that is still part of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm really liking it. Spent ages on it because it's open world. It's not 30 hours. It could be like 30 months. It's a non-ending thing. But I've had fun with it so far. Yeah. So
it's funny because Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn has been compared quite often these days. Okay. Because the way they kind of do their storytelling and the way they kind of structure their open world is very similar. Apparently, obviously I don't have a Switch, so I haven't played it. And it's amazing how a lot of people who enjoyed one would really enjoy the other.
Okay.
They have very similar. They're not similar actually at all in some respects, but they're
story-wise.
But the way they have such a full and immersive world. Whereas there's so many open world RPGs which is just barren. There's just nothing there. Like, yes, it's big and there's this big vast lands for you to travel, but it's not engaging.
There's nothing in there.
Nothing.
That's the thing with Zelda. You can see something interesting in the horizon, and you could go there, and there will be something interesting there. It's not just scenery. There's things for you to interact with.
Yeah. So, so that's what I've been. I just finished playing that, which was excellent.
Yeah.
I finished watching 2 new shows.
Yep.
So, one's called Lucifer.
Yep.
Which I don't think you'll enjoy.
Is that the one where about the kid turns out to be the son of the devil or something? No. Okay.
No.
What's this one?
Lucifer is basically about Lucifer, the devil. He's basically sick of his life as Lord of the Hell, and he goes to what is it? LA? Yeah.
So live action. This is a live action show, not animated.
No. It's a live action.
And what, Netflix? What's this on?
I don't know if Netflix...
Back of the truck?
How
did you watch this?
Netflix. I bought the DVD.
Oh, okay.
And he basically goes to LA and has a holiday there. And it's now...
so it's just a holiday?
No. Well, initially it was as if he was taking a holiday, but basically now stays in LA for good.
And why do you think I won't like it? The premise sounds interesting. Is he an idiot? Is that why I wouldn't like it?
No, he's Okay, so it's basically a procedural though. It's a procedural show.
I don't mind procedural shows. I watch all the sorts of procedural.
It's a procedural show. So he basically helps out this detective, and the reason why he helps out this detective is because as a devil, people are inclined to tell him their darkest secrets and their what's their desire basically. That's his power per se. Okay, it's not like he can just turn it on, but it's just people are just inclined to tell him. Like if he looks at them and he's like, so tell me what is your deepest, darkest desire, and the person would generally just open up and tell him whatever he was.
Right,
except this detective that he sees isn't affected by it.
Oh.
And he's really intrigued. And I was like, you're not affected by me, and you don't want to sleep with me.
The detective's a woman. I was about to ask that. Is there that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I was like, and you don't want to sleep with me? Why? And so the show basically stems from there. I really enjoyed it. I think it's hilarious.
So why do you think I don't like it? Why would you think I won't like it?
I don't know. Like it's I like it in the same way that in the same reason why I liked the anime show that you didn't like, the Part-Time Devil.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking whether the people were idiots.
No, they're not idiots. But it's very similar in the feel, I guess.
No, but you see, the reason why I don't like it is because in the animation thing, he loses all his powers. There's nothing magical about this show at all. He's an idiot. His bodyguard's an idiot. The people who are trying to catch him are idiots. Everyone, that's why I don't like it.
Anyway, but anyway, you can try and watch it. Like I really enjoy it. It's really funny.
Okay.
And I love the person who plays Lucifer. Like he's brilliant.
Funny?
Oh, he just has this like he's funny, but he's got this like really, really charming personality that makes you kind of like, really, you're the devil? I could not see that.
Is it funny?
It's funny.
Okay.
It's a very funny show. But yeah, so anyway, I watched that. So, and then I watched season 2 of Dark Matter. Finished watching that.
So you watched the first season though, right? And it's not just...
Yeah, I think we mentioned this a while ago when I was doing our first episode or second episode. But anyway,
okay.
So I'm in two minds about Dark Matter at the moment. Like I don't
know what the premise is.
So basically, it's about these 6 people who wakes up on a spaceship.
Yep.
And they have no memories of how they're there, why they're there, who they are.
Okay.
Okay. And so the first season is about them trying to figure out who they are, basically.
Uh-huh.
And so the one thing I really liked about the show is throughout the whole show, they find out who they are, and then they have to see whether they want to accept that person as who they are, whether they accept that person. Okay. Because basically they found out that they are actually assassins, murderers.
Oh, okay, so they find out that actually worse, they're bad people, and now it's like, do I accept my old personality or the new personality?
Yeah, so I'm trying to accept. Do I accept me as this fugitive that's, murderous, across the galaxy and being wanted by all these people? Or if I don't, then what do I do? Because that's who I am, and that's everyone knows who I am. But is that who I really am now? And if it is, what's the go? And
yeah.
So, and the one thing I really liked about the show was because even though they knew who they are, they found out the names and stuff like that.
They don't get their memory back?
Not in the first season.
Okay.
Throughout the whole first season, they don't call each other by those names. They call each other by...
New names.
Yeah, they call it by numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and the way they determine in the order of when they woke up.
Okay. Oh, no. Okay. No, you could tell me more. I was just thinking, don't tell me more because I want to watch it. But no, you got to tell me because we're doing a podcast. Yes.
I thought you didn't... I thought you said you didn't want to watch it.
I can't remember anymore.
Because I said it was in some respect it was similar to Firefly, and I think that's why you didn't want to watch it.
But I watched Firefly in the end. Didn't I tell you? I rewatched Firefly.
Oh, you did?
I watched the whole thing.
Oh,
and I loved it. Even though it was Western, it wasn't really as bad as I thought it was.
Oh my god!
I'm sorry,
Serena.
I'm sorry. I watched it. I loved it, and I'm like, oh god damn it! There's only one season.
I know, right? Anyway, Dark Matter has a very similar feel to it.
Okay.
And which is what I really enjoyed it. In some respects, it kind of feels like a rip-off because a lot of the characters
are the same.
As
long as it's not like Cowboy Bebop, it's fine. That's the one I don't like.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, it's definitely not like that. But it does move on after the first season. It does move on because they have a second season. Ta-da! Unlike Firefly, which never had one. Damn it. But that was the first season of Dark Matter. So they were trying to figure it out. In second season, I probably shouldn't go into this if you're going to watch it now. But I really enjoyed it. Okay. Except they did something really annoying, and I like. Okay, this is going to be a spot. I have to say it though. They kill off one of the main 6 guys.
No.
To be fair, it's lucky it wasn't the one that I really liked. So, but still, it's annoying because they kind of not only do they kill him, they kind of kill off his whole character arc. So
probably because the guy had to leave. Did you look it up?
No, I think they just said, you know what. I think that the producers actually said, look, stuff like this happen in real life, that sometimes things just don't get resolved, so they deliberately do it like that. And I was like, no, because prior to him being killed off, they give this whole exposition about further mysteries that you kind of go like, oh, okay, there's something more, and then he gets killed. What? And it's like, no, why? So yeah, anyway, I do love the show though. Like, Dark Matter is a really, really interesting show. And I liked how they managed to make one of the characters who everyone thought was not really a great character. He develops a lot in the second season. Okay. To kind of the point where he's suddenly become the main character in some respects.
Okay. So I gotta watch that. So I'm going to borrow Lucifer off you, and Dark Matter is...
Dark Matter I've also got. So you can borrow off me as well.
I'm watching Killjoy.
I want to watch that Netflix. As well. Is it good?
Like, they have a limited budget.
Yeah.
A limited budget. But so far it's okay. It's interesting.
I just wanted to... I heard actually Killjoy and Dark Matter were... done at the same time as part of the Sci-Fi Network.
Yeah, okay.
So those two shows were quite popular, so that's why I want to watch that as well.
Right, because I'm starting. Not starting. I trust Netflix recommendations because I've been watching a lot of sci-fi and I've been reading a lot of sci-fi. I've been reading so many books, and I'm not going to go into that. I read so many books. I'll talk to you about it later. So yeah, a lot of sci-fi. And so I like Killjoy. It's sci-fi. It's kind of like a procedural at the same time. Kind of. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll watch it. It's interesting so far.
Okay, quickly. I finished watching Assassin Classroom.
I want to watch that. I haven't watched that. Are you talking about the movie, TV series? What are you talking about?
No, just the anime.
Okay.
Apparently the live action was really bad, so don't watch it.
Okay. Well, most live action for anime is really sucky. Bad.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But the actual anime, I didn't realize it actually follows the manga. Yeah. Exactly the same. So it's not like...
But do they skip a lot of bits? Because you know how comics do a lot of...
No, because I initially I thought they would. Yeah. But actually because the way the manga worked, it actually fit quite well in an anime style. And they actually don't need to. Okay. Because the way it happens, at least for the first half of the show, it's about each individual character in the classroom. So they have a story arc for each individual character, and they kind of go along with that. Mm-hmm. And it works because in anime you just have one episode for each character, right? Yep. And it kind of works. And then you have this semi build up in the end, and then the whole second season is kind of wrapping it all up.
Okay.
And it actually wraps up very neatly. The whole show is explained, and it's kind of nice that way.
Okay, where do you watch that?
Anime Lab.
Yep, I was about to ask. I forgot about. Okay,
so it is a bit cliche though, especially the last bit. Like it kind of.
I actually don't know enough about it to know.
It's a great show. Like the premise is really funny. So the premise is basically this monster alien has apparently destroyed the moon. Okay. And he claims that he is now going to destroy Earth as well.
Yep.
So people have to kill him, but in the meantime, he has specifically said that I want to teach a class of kids.
Teach them what?
Teach them school,
like normal.
Yes, kind of.
Okay.
in this particular high school, and these are all rejects of the school.
Right, of course. Do you mean cliche in the sense of, the teacher who managed to inspire all the kids to do well?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But the thing is, like, these kids are training to become assassins, to kill the teacher.
Oh, okay. So wait. Does he know that?
Yeah.
So it's all known from the start.
Yep. So he tells them, it's like, you guys have to assassinate me, because if you don't assassinate me, I'm gonna blow up the world. So
okay,
the
but
kids,
who's teaching them to assassinate?
So they've got people who come in and help them, and they're trained killers to, and they hire killers as well, and it's really interesting. Like, it's funny and kind of ridiculous sometimes, but it's like, at some point, it's also quite smart in how they do it.
I could see why you say that ending would be cliche, because I can only feel like there's only two ways this could end.
Yeah, so the ending is kind of cliche, but it was nice.
Okay.
I did like it.
Okay, because I've been also, I'm guessing the ending came out recently, because I got messages from, I've been in chats with other friends, and they're like, I just finished Assassin Classroom and I was crying, and I'm like, okay, I really need to watch this.
Because I think the manga finished not too long ago, and then the anime caught up with that. So, but I just really enjoyed how they followed very, very closely with the manga. So it wasn't like they had these random bits that they added or something. So yeah, it was nice.
Okay, so I gotta watch that too.
Yeah. And last thing, I finished reading the light novels for Sword Art Online.
I couldn't care less.
I know you wouldn't care less, but I have to say it. I finished reading the Alicization arc, so that's a very long arc, I must say. So if you think about the first season in the anime, the first season was the first 4 books.
Yep.
No. First season was the first 2 books.
Yep.
Second season was the next 2 books.
Okay.
So in total, the first 4, 5 books was all of season 1 and 2. This Alicization arc is 8 books long. 9 books long. It's a very, very long arc. Now, there's good things and bad things about it. I like the story, I like the premise, and there's bits that I really love. And there was one thing which I really liked, was that Kirito finally managed to have, like, a guy friend that's actually, not clumsy and a dickhead, and that's actually nice.
Okay.
It was actually good. Like, so the main character, basically his best friend.
Yeah.
Throughout the end of this, is called Yujiro, and he's a really great character.
Okay.
I'm not going to talk about it more because there would be spoilers, but
okay.
So that it's actually got really good characterization for them, and finally you don't have a girl that's fawning over him all the time.
Thank God. But I'm still not going to watch it. Yeah, okay.
No,
read it.
It just still does kind of at the end for a bit, but it's not like the outright like, oh my God, you're the best. Like, yeah. Anyway, but oh God, he's not a good writer when it comes to details. Really, like the reason why I enjoyed the first kind of few books is because I liked the way how he does the time skips. Okay. I know you didn't like it. But
I never read the book, remember?
No, but like, I liked how he manages to like just go like, you know what, these aren't important parts of it. Like,
right.
I just need to show you that this is what ends at the end of the game. Yeah. Like, this is how it started. Something happens in the middle.
That's the end. Yeah. Yep.
He doesn't need to go through every single flaw.
Yeah, right to his strengths.
Yeah. Obviously, he also did that because he only had limited time.
Yeah,
I think he did this for a
competition.
Yeah. And so he only had limited time, so he couldn't do every single floor.
Yeah,
and
sure.
In hindsight, I think that's a really good move on his part because when it comes to the details, he sometimes get really
distracted. Goes into the weeds.
He writes so many details about these random people and that you don't really see again.
Oh, okay. So he needs an editor.
He really needs an editor. Like, it's just a lot of superfluous stuff that's like, it's not getting me anywhere. Or it's taking too long to get there. Like, you don't need this long to get somewhere. It's just like, because Kirito in this arc, he's staying here for years. He's stuck here for
right.
years, so it's not a short period. I felt like he felt like he needed to
Explain what happened.
everything in these years, and it's like, look, just do the time skip and just say like, yes, it takes him that long to get there, like, or just. Yeah, there was too much.
He had times on. He has time.
He had time now, right? And so he felt like, and I didn't enjoy it. Unfortunately, it was like I was like, and when it gets to the interesting part, he was great. You know, when it came down to all the interesting parts that I loved reading, it was brilliant. I loved it, but there were just so many parts where I'm like, are we done yet? Like, can we just move on? Like, this is so not useful and like so not interesting. Which is why I'm now kind of dreading reading progressive.
Oh, right.
Because
that's what he does with the first one.
Yeah, because now he's trying to fill in all the gaps.
Yep.
And I feel like, do I really want to read that now? Because I felt like Alicization showed me his weakness in the writing.
Sure.
Like, I like his ideas. I'm not particularly fond of his writing style, especially when it comes to the details. Like, I don't know, will I get even more annoyed and will it kind of break it for me? Because, and is there going to be a lot of retcon because he's now going over stuff? That's
definitely going to happen because I don't really think you can add things in the... If your original plan didn't have that... I mean, if he did, that's one thing. But if you didn't originally plan for him to fill in all the gaps later, you'll definitely come to a part where it's like, oh, it doesn't actually fit with what I originally wrote, so now I have to either change something or, you know.
Yeah. In saying that, I know Andrew really loves progressive, so... But then again, he loves everything, so...
Which actually brings something else into mind. We watched Spider-Man the other day.
Oh, the new one, Homecoming.
Are you watching it?
Probably not. I did kind of like the trailer, but I don't know. Should I?
I mean... Okay, in saying that, I need to start because before we get hate mail, I walked into the cinema feeling really weird. I walked into the cinema feeling out of sorts. Normally, I like ads before a movie. Like, I don't mind them.
Yeah.
Watching those ads put me on edge because they had a lot of public service announcement. Like, they were explaining to us why there is variable speed limits in our freeways and how they're saying, oh, you know how sometimes you go on the freeway and then you have this slow down to 40 and you can't see around you or even in front of you why this would be the case? Well, we'd just like to let you know that our technology is really smart and really and it's because further up the road we saw something happen and therefore we're slowing everyone down to make up for it. And that already enraged me because as a driver and as a regular driver, the number of times I've gone on the freeway where they close down one entire lane or two entire lanes and then you're stuck there for an hour. You finally get to the part where there's supposedly an accident. Oh, no, you just keep going. Like people all merged to one lane. And you get, then you okay, I'm one of those people who won't merge until I actually need to. Because the number of times I've gone and I just keep going and I keep going and I keep going. And then the merging lane thing disappears. Like there's no need to merge anymore. And it was clear the whole way. Like, okay, I understand there might have been a car there. There might have been a breakdown. But it has gone so long already. Like, you just keep going, then there's nothing there. There's no debris on the ground. There is nothing. I don't know why they merged, like they closed off two lanes. And if they didn't, people wouldn't be stuck in the traffic for 2 hours. And I like the number of times I've seen that happen. And then this ad goes and tells me that their technology is high tech and all sorts of stuff. When I know for a fact that City of Melbourne, well, not City of Melbourne, but Australia technology is kind of not fantastic. Right. When I see that, I'm like, oh my God, that annoys me so much. And they had a number of these ads, not just for the speed limit. It was a few of them. I don't know why that government decided to push through a lot of, public services announcements or something like that, trying to explain some of their stuff, like this high-speed internet thing. No, oh, don't even get me on high-speed internet. So those things are like, oh, this annoys me so much. Oh, and one of the parts about no speeding, they got kids to do it. And I'm like, I don't like kids to begin with. And you're trying to get kids to explain to us things that they don't understand. I'm like, Okay,
so you didn't go into the show with a very
good mood to begin with. Okay, then what happened is I'm watching the movie. I know that Spider-Man's supposed to be funny. all the previous Spider-Mans had the Spider-Man kind of old, like uni age. This one is 14-year-old.
Yeah.
So you're watching. I'm watching this movie and I realize this movie is a high school angst fest in a way, right? Like, oh, I'm Spider-Man, but I can't tell anyone about it except he has a best friend who finds out. Like, there's no Spider-Man never had a best friend that was like a normal best friend. He had a best friend that turned out to be like a bad guy.
Yeah.
But this is a best friend who's a nerd kind of thing, and it's like, oh yeah, Peter knows Spider-Man, and tells the whole class. That kind of situation is like, well, and Peter's like, why do you do that? It's like, what, did you not hear? That girl in our class, he just said he had a crush on Spider-Man. She had a crush on you. You have a chance. And I'm like, why do I care? Why do I? I'm watching a growing up movie, a coming of age. This is a coming of age story. I thought I was watching the first Spider-Man that wasn't an origin story. This isn't an origin story where where Peter Parker gets bit. He's bitten. Yeah. They don't do that, but it's a coming of age.
Yeah.
So it's still an origin story.
Yeah.
But it's not an origin story of him being Spider-Man. It's an origin story of him being a human being.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that annoys me. Secondly, the funny bits. Okay, I find it funny, but the woman on my right, she's a chair slapper. She slaps the armrest every single time. It's funny, and she's rocking on the chair. And I'm like, oh no, that's fine. She can do it silently. Except the woman on Andrew's left laughed so loud that I could hear it from my seat. And she laughed so loud that I couldn't even laugh. Like, I was planning on laughing, except I get distracted. And the first thing in my mind is like, really? Was it that funny? It's a juvenile joke. Seriously, was it that funny? So now I'm not finding the movie funny because this woman is howling throughout the movie. And then about 9:30, because the movie was 8:30 at night. 8:30 at night. Okay, it's a nighttime. It should be adults watching this movie. Suddenly, this baby's crying in the front row. I'm like, why is there a baby crying? Why does anyone bring a baby into a cinema? I don't understand. The baby's not going to understand a movie. I know it's Spider-Man. I know it's for kids, but this kid's not going to understand a movie. And is it really worth it paying that much money for a kid to watch it in a big... If you have enough money, okay, fine. But if your baby's crying, you take them out of the theater. Don't try to stop them from crying in the cinema. Not only do I not want to hear the baby cry, I don't want to hear you go, shh, 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 while the movie's going on. It's kind of like trying to have a phone call in the cinema. It's like, oh, I'm in the cinema right now. I'll talk to you later. No, I'm in the cinema right now. I'll talk to you. Like, come on. I don't really need to hear that. No one else needs to hear that. Okay, the baby's crying. The mother's trying to shush her. And then suddenly the second child is talking. I'm like, what is going on? Take them out. Take them out. 10 minutes later, she takes them out because she decides that she can't shut them up. When the movie finishes and the light comes on, I realized that front row had like 7 kids, 3 to 5-year-old. Why are 3 and 5-year-old watching a movie at 8:30 at night? Because by 9:30 they're tired and they're sleepy and they're grumpy, and the movie by 9:30 has gone off the action bit and has some of those serious bits. So I'm watching a serious bit while a baby's crying.
Sounds like you had a very bad experience at the cinema.
Yes, I had a very bad experience. So when you say, should you watch Spider-Man? I don't know. Because I don't know what the movie is like without
the distractions,
all this stuff around me.
Look, at the end of I probably won't watch it just because I'm not a big superhero film person. I haven't watched a lot of the superhero films.
Okay,
I've watched maybe 2.
Really? None of the Avengers, none of the Iron Man. No.
I watched Thor #1.
That's a terrible movie to watch.
I watched Doctor Strange.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not exactly a great one either.
I like Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
But that was literally the 2 that I think I've watched. I don't... What are you looking at?
Sorry, I'm just looking out of Peter's apartment window, and I just realized there's like a stationary helicopter like just outside your window. Is that an ad?
What?
That thing right next to the billboard that you just saw lights flash through the glass. Is it a reflection, or is that... What is that in the... Oh, that's the... what you call it? Those things that pick up large things.
Crane.
Yes, thank you. That's the cockpit of the crane. I can't see the rest of the crane. I just saw the cockpit. It looks like a helicopter. It's nighttime outside. I only just see glass, and I'm like, what's going on? Is there like a fake helicopter just like outside your window? What is that?
I'm like, is Sarita high? What the hell is she talking about? Okay. Anyway,
I'm sorry. I'm not going to cut that out because that is part of the show. By the way, looking at the time and thinking back on the topics we talked about, and I can't think for the life of me what I'm going to cut out. What I'm going to do is we're going to have 2 episodes this month. Yeah. I'm going to expand the amount of space we're going to buy from our hosting thing, and we'll put 2 episodes out. We're going to record that second episode in this session as well. I'm going to give an actual proper start and end, because last time trying to record that at home using my phone, obviously everyone would notice the terrible audio quality at the start of every episode, explaining why we have nothing on and why everything's so weird. So this time we're going to do it properly. Yes, I'm going to cut this episode in half. This episode's got nothing to do with what was it that we were talking about? Oh my god! Thank you. You know the number of times I watch a movie, and by the time all the trailers is finished and ads are done, I'm like, wait, what movie am I going to watch now? Because I can't remember anymore. I got a really terrible short-term memory. I'm like, what the hell?
I must say, like this episode, we actually spent like
air quotes episode. Yeah,
we did a lot of talking about random crap that we did.
Oh no, we did a lot of mini reviews.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Well, that's because we haven't been done this for so long. We're in this meantime, we're like, oh, I finished this and I finished this and oh, this is what I've done, which never happens because usually you'll be like, what did you do? Nothing. I've been too busy. I normally
have a lot of stuff.
Okay, I don't.
You would be like, I did this assignment and this assignment and this exam and this exam and that assignment, and I'll be like, oh my god, let me just kill myself. Like, why would you put yourself through this? Of course, after you've done all these exams and stuff and you get a job that's like pays 10 times now, which is already like what you're getting paid now is already 3 times what I'm getting paid, and then 10 times after that I'll be like, I'm so jealous of you, I really should have done that too, shouldn't I? That's why my mother told me to take law, didn't it? Oh, damn it.
But, yeah, so for once, I actually have a lot of things to contribute at the start of the show, not just like, so what did you do, Peter? Yeah, not much, just one thing. That's about it. So what did you do, Serena?
Yeah, like, I mean, looking at all the topics that we just covered, we could have done this for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, but of course, all of this would be like out of season, outdated and stuff by the time we do it.
It'll be quite outdated.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, let's well, even though we are doing 2 episodes, let's do a wrap up for this episode.
Okay. Oh crap! What's the wrap up? Oh my god, I'm so confused where I am right now, and this is really strange. Okay, so what are we watching currently? Do we still do that? Like, I mean, if we're going to talk about next episode, we can still do this. Oh well, we already talked about it, didn't we? We talked about I'm watching Killjoy.
Yep.
What are you watching currently?
Let me have a look.
Because when Peter's apartment, all he has to do is twist his head around and have a look at his DVDs because he doesn't believe in like streaming stuff on Netflix or stuff. He still have like a pile of DVDs like in front of his TV.
The stuff that I want to watch is not on Netflix, so I don't have.
Oh, he's being a responsible civilian and not getting stuff off the back of a truck or online version thereof.
Actually, I don't know what I want to watch next.
Because you finished everything just recently.
Yeah, so I've kind of.
Are you a Game of Thrones person?
No.
Okay, cool.
I will get to Game of Thrones once it's all out.
Wow.
I refuse to watch it at the moment just because. The only reason why I wasn't into it... Well, okay, so I tried reading the book. I tried reading the first book.
Oh, God, yeah.
Wow, that was frustrating. I didn't get through the second chapter, so I was like, you know what? It's not going to work. I'm not...
I tried listening audiobook. Do you know how hard it is with the number of people that they have? Like, how do I even remember what voice is what? Huh? No.
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
So I do actually want to watch it. The only thing is, I know the book hasn't finished yet.
But no. The new season's got nothing to do with the books.
I know, which is why I kind of feel like if you're going to end anyway, just I'll watch it once it ended. Once I know that it's ended, so that I kind of know that there's a start to end, and that it's kind of how they want it to end.
Do you reckon they're really going to end it anytime soon? I mean, the amount of money they're raking in on that.
I thought they said that this was going to be the last, the second last season.
Oh, okay. I don't follow.
Yeah.
After Red Wedding, I decided to stop watching it.
It's kind of like when I read books and then the book kind of just never ends because, like, the series never ends because the person's just churning out stuff. And it's just like, or excuse me, like. Anime or manga that just never ends. For example, like I loved Detective Conan as a kid. I loved it as a kid, but this was when I was a kid.
The thing is, right, if Detective Conan didn't have that overarching story about him having to find why he turned into a kid, I think it would have worked, because as a procedural, as a detective thing, it might have just worked constantly. You didn't have to have ended. But with an overarching story, you have to...
And because for me, like, I love that overarching story. That was great. Yeah.
But you have to end that.
Yeah. And by them kind of just keep on dragging this out, it's like, well, I don't care anymore, because like
it's never going
to. Or when it finally does, it's kind of like just all of a sudden, wrapped up. It's like, what? No. Like, there's no build up to it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like in some respects, like I want someone to go through all of Detective Conan and pick out all the episodes that got to do this main story arc and let me know, watch these ones from start to finish.
You mean like how they did it with Dragon Ball Z? I heard that's what they did, wasn't it? There was somewhere like that with Dragon Ball Z. They took out all the stuff that didn't matter.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, like I was like, someone do that for me, so that because I really loved Detective Conan as a kid. Like, I wanted to know, I wanted to see where it went, because as I said, I like a mystery, but I want to know the. I want to see what the mystery is, and
but if they never end it,
huh?
But if they haven't ended it. Have they ended it?
No.
Yeah.
It's still going.
Okay.
It's still freaking going. I watched this when I was in year 10, when I first realized that. And I was already late into that because...
Well, you got to realize, I mean, the artist needs to eat, right? It's kind of like all the subscription services for all the apps. You know, the developer needs to eat, so therefore you have to constantly pay.
But, which is why, like, and that's the thing. I don't want to go into another situation like that just never ends. Like, the other is like Hunter x Hunter. Same thing. It just constantly just dragged and never ended, and anyway, so yeah, I'm not going to watch it until I know it's ended and I know it's finished.
Okay, so just to summarize the past 5 minutes, no, you're not going to watch Game of Thrones.
Not yet.
That's why this episode is over. So I'm like, I asked you a simple question, and it becomes, you know that the feedback that I was saying, we should get through this quickly. I was supposed to just read each line, but you still went on, and I'm like, okay, if you're going to go on, I'm going to go on that line thing too, right?
Yeah, let's just say, actually. To be fair, this is actually more reflective of what it usually is like for us
to talk. Yeah, I know.
This is not like when we usually like do our episodes and we have to like truncate things and try to keep things like that. Is not how we usually. This is actually much.
I know. This is how we normally talk. It's just that normally we have to give a time limit. And I mean, I listened to a friend and said, your episode shouldn't be over an hour long. And although every single podcast I listen to is like 2 hours, 3 hours. So I don't know why I'm listening to this, but perhaps we could try longer episodes and see what happens. I don't know. No, I mean, every time we record, we actually go over time.
Yeah, I know, right?
I just have to spend like days trying to cut and make things sound fine in an hour's time. I've gotten really good at like merging sentences that you speak, like, because sometimes you manage to make things sound like it's one sentence.
Oh, really?
Cut out like a minute in between.
Wow.
Just a little glimpse in the behind the scenes. I've done, because you never re-listen to our episodes. You don't even know what I cut out. You have no idea. And even if you do re-listen, you wouldn't remember. So that's what we've been watching currently. Oh, the amount of books. I got to talk about the kind of books I've been reading.
Let's do that for the next episode.
Yeah. Well, then we'll never get to Dirk Gently. Okay. No, quickly. Goodreads, I have decided to give myself a challenge. And when the app asked me, how many books are you going to read in a year? I'm like,
randomly pick a number.
Think of a number. 50. 50 is a round number, and it doesn't sound like a lot. Like 100 sounds like a lot. 50 would be fine. And then every single time I tell it to another person, obviously I realized very soon after, but every single time I tell other people, they realize it quicker than me. They'll be like, oh, a book a year, a book a week. And I'm thinking, yeah, I didn't think about that. And apparently that's actually quite a lot of books, because, I mean, yes, I can get through a book in a week, but, I need to, there's a backlog. I need to catch up, because apparently, even though I thought I read a lot of books I read in December, and they don't count because they're last year. So I've been reading a lot of books recently, and I'm now back to 21 books, which still isn't halfway through, because I should be 25 by now, or 20-something. Yeah, 25 by now. See, I can't count. And so read a lot of books, a lot of sci-fi, a lot of YA, some terribly written YA, some surprisingly good books. I'm not going to list them because I can't remember them. And if I load up Goodreads, we will be here for another hour. And I'm still looking up Goodreads because that's the kind of person I am. And that reminded me I'm using iOS 11 on my iPad. Let's not talk about that. We need to end this. We need to. That's how we talk, right? If we're going to show people how we normally actually talk, if we're trying to, okay, if we are going to discard the old way we're doing the episode and actually, embrace our personalities
side.
And how we actually are and stuff, making things coherent and just let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
We are going to not make sense. You know what? We should try this. For the next few episodes, we should try this. Like, screw structure, screw things. Because that's the whole point, right? The idea that
when we first did this show, this was actually why we wanted to do it, because we just randomly have these topics that we just randomly talk about, and we'll go on talking for, obviously,
a long time.
An hour and a half,
And that's why this show is called Trigger Point. The idea is that we have this topic, Dirk Gently, that's supposed to trigger everything else. Of course, we haven't gone to the part that Dirk Gently has triggered us. That will be next episode. I need to rename all the other files because I have Dirk Gently in the file and it's got nothing to do with Dirk Gently. So we need to stop because we are way over time for this episode. We're already doing 2 episodes this month. Just to help other people. No, that's the other thing. We could say it this way. This justifies it. We have been away for a very long time. Our listeners, if they are still listening, had put up with 3 episodes that have been recorded in
at the same
one
time.
session. Yeah, without a proper start, without a proper ending, and it's more like me doing this afterwards, right? So we are going to give people more content this month. Oh, content. It sounds like I'm like a media person. Yeah. No, we're going to give people more stuff to listen to this month. You can deal with our hyper conversation speeds because I don't know whether people notice I speak much
We're a lot faster today.
Yeah, because I knew that I had a lot more to say and I was trying to squish it into a shorter period of time. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk at the speed that I normally talk at, which might not be a great speed for podcast listeners, but it could be because people don't have to put us at 2 times speed to try and get through the episode quicker.
Is that this naturally double speed?
No, actually, no. People put double speed to try and get through the episode faster, but we're at double speed at a longer time frame. So if they can't get this episode done quicker because if they had the double speed, it will be quarter speed and we'll sound like chipmunks. Ooh. Okay, I just got tangent over there. Okay, we need to end this. Okay, so what are we going to do next? We are going to do Dirk Gently next, and we're going to record in like 10 minutes time or after we've had dinner because I still need to eat.
Yep.
Although I'm kind of full, I'm not hungry. We need to, we're going to do Dirk Gently and in the 2 weeks it takes for you to before the next episode is out. Oh God, I've got to edit this really quickly then, wouldn't I?
Yes.
Anyway, you can find us on Twitter at TriggerPointFM. You can email us and email triggerpointfm@gmail.com. Our website is triggerpointfm.com. And YouTube, you can search us for Triggerpoint Podcast. I really need to update the episode list because I think I haven't put anything up there since episode 4.
Whoops. Let us know whether you like us just randomly doing verbal diarrhea because I felt like this is what it was.
It's very satisfying for us.
I know, right?
like diarrhea when you get it all out. It's very satisfying.
That's not a... Please, no. Didn't need that imagery.
I know.
But no, if you guys were actually wondering, this is actually what we are usually like. The way we normally do an episode, it's not what we are usually like.
No. We normally have to get this all out of the system before we start recording so we can control ourselves.
Yeah. So actually, next episode would actually feel more like a normal episode for you guys because we'll have done this already.
Yeah, we've gotten this out already. Oh, probably from now on, we'll do 2 episodes a month. And at the start, we'll have done all this. And then the next episode we can be more controlled and more. I mean, we're only just guessing. I don't know whether next episode is going to be more controlled.
I don't know.
Will we even try? I was going to say we'll try, but I don't know whether we will even try.
I know, right? Anyway, let us know which one you like.
Yeah. Okay. So as I said, I already told you how to contact us. So we'll see you in 10 minutes / 2 weeks.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.